welcome to Racing360. I'm Jo McKinnon, lovely to have your company on this new show for Hong Kong racing, focused on the international simulcast meetings broadcast here throughout the year. And the countdown is well and truly on to Europe's most prestigious race of the year, the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. The stage is finally set, Jason Tan, after a somewhat controversial week. We've had lots of ups and downs in the lead up to this great race.
Hi Joe, it's a massive race day, and of course the Arc itself has created headlines over the last week, as you mentioned, with so many comings and goings. Looking forward to talking about the Arc primarily, and also some of the undercard races, and also looking forward to getting some thoughts from a man that Hong Kong people will be fairly familiar with now. Hong Kong trainer these days, Richard Gibson, who spent so much of his career based out of Chantilly, very familiar with French racing, and a lot of Arc Day experiences from him that will be showing.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy Green joins us on the program as well. Jeremy, it's been an interesting week, hasn't it?
It has. It's not been good news. Three very serious defections from the race just there last weekend. Snow Fairy, who we saw win the Hong Kong Cup, and she'd come back so well after a very, very difficult injury with a tendon, came back and won 2 Group 1s. She got ruled out with heat in her leg. A couple of days later, of course, then we hear the news that Daydreamer, through no fault of her own as well, through swamp fever is the case in the Cologne stables in Germany as well, a lockdown there as well for 3 months as well. It's an abysmal situation there as well. Apparently just the one horse has it, so she can't move as well, and that rules her out of running in the Japan Cup later in the year also. So that was strike 3. Then Nathaniel as well, who was probably second favourite for the race as well. The horse who won the Coral Eclipse and second in the King George, actually the first and second now in the King George are ruled out, Daydream and him as well. Terrible, terrible blow for the race. It's still a good contest, but it's lost some of its sheen.
Have you known an attrition rate quite like this in the lead up to the Arc before?
No, never. No, never. And particularly this quality as well. You know, it's been pretty hard to take, I'd imagine, for the organisers.
Just some positive news. We really do hope, of course, Camelot lines up on the actual day. It's been on again, off again, his campaign towards the Arc, but with these horses coming out of the race, it's given the O'Brien team, I think, a lot more confidence about running the horse.
Yeah, had a gallop on Wednesday, and Aidan O'Brien gave the horse the big tick. Son won't be riding though, and he will be riding in the race, but he won't be riding Camelot because he won't be able to make the weight, which is a shame for Joseph O'Brien.
How about this for an update, Joe?
Yeah, in possibly the greatest twist of the whole Arc lead-up story this year, it was announced late this week that of all people, it would be Frankie Dettori to ride Camelot in the Arc. Remarkably, it's the 25th consecutive year that he'll face the starter in what is one of the world's greatest thoroughbred contests. Jerry, regarding the horse though, did you feel the bubble burst somewhat with his St Ledger second?
It did. Very, very unexpected. He was a 3-1 on favourite in that case. Some criticised the ride, and perhaps that's valid too, but I thought he had enough leeway as well to pick up the winner of that race, Enki 2. He had about 2 furlongs to pick him up. He didn't, and I wouldn't say it because he didn't stay. Both horses did hit the line reasonably well, just wasn't good enough. And I think perhaps he's been slightly overrated. A lot of the 3-year-olds this season have been fairly maligned. We might get to one later as well, a French 3-year-old who we can possibly talk about later. That will be Saunois. But Camelot, after that, I think he has it all to prove. And he's coming into this race as it's possibly something of an afterthought. And I think because of these 3 high-profile horses have defected, they now seem it's impossible to resist than just to supplement him for the race and just go for it.
One person who's proven himself on the Arc stage is local trainer Richard Gibson. A number of years ago, he trained Lady of Chad to win the prestigious 2-year-old race, the Marcel Boussac. Let's hear Richard's thoughts on what is one of the world's most prestigious race days.
The Arc de Triomphe day is by far the best day in French racing. It's 7 Group 1s in that day. So you've got obviously the Arc de Triomphe, but you've got the championship races in 2-year-olds. You've got the championship race in the sprint division, championship race in the stayers division. So to win or even compete at any of those levels is a thrill for any owner or trainer. Well, it's very different from Hong Kong because there's huge variations in gradient. On the Arc de Triomphe course, you're going to climb for nearly 600 meters, and then there's a very, very strong downhill turn, which would be 400 meters, and then a long, long straight. So you need plenty of speed, stamina, and flexibility. Exceptional talent. would be the key trait. Longchamp takes no mercies. The Arc de Triomphe is a fast race. Not only need exceptional talent, but you've got to bring your A game at the end of a long season. So has all the attributes of a wonderful classic.
Looking forward to a tremendous contest, as it always is each year, though we've had our ups and downs in the lead up to the race. I don't think it's taken too much gloss off the field.
18 horses will run. Carrying saddlecloth number 1 is the Sir Michael Stout-trained Sea Moon. Aidan O'Brien with 4 horses in the field, including the champion 3-year-old Camelot. Andre Fabre, will he continue his remarkable record in the race, going for his 8th Arc win tomorrow? Saddles up 2, Meandra and Masterstroke. And Sanoir is the fairy tale story in the race, isn't he? They paid the €100,000 supplementary to run him tomorrow. He carries saddlecloth number 16.
And we'll start running through some of the top chances. Firstly, the Japanese horse. He's been the talk of the town since arriving in France and winning the trials quite comfortably. Orfèvre.
Yeah, a worthy favourite, it would appear. He's in Europe at the moment. As we record this, he's about 5-2 or so. I'd imagine in Hong Kong, being an Asian horse, he's going to be a fair deal shorter. Probably won't be as short as Deep Impact, who ran on the race 5-6 years ago and got turned over and then was subsequently disqualified for a positive swab. But this horse is probably up around that class and is entitled to go off favourite. His trial, I thought, was pretty good. They went no pace. He did his job. He had his pacemaker. He will have his pacemaker again on Sunday. There's plenty of speed in the race as well, because Aidan O'Brien is probably going to have a few going forward also. Christophe Soumillon takes over the reins as well from the Japanese jockey who made a few errors on him earlier in the season. But he's a Japanese Triple Crown winner. We know how good those horses are over distance. Got plenty in his favour, and Japan is still gunning for the first win in this race. They've gone close before. 2 years ago they were second. El Condor Pasa was second. Deep Impact, probably the greatest chance, he was third, disqualified. This guy is up with those horses. He is going to be the one to beat. I just think he might be just a bit too short in the market as well. He's not nailed on for me.
The French dominate their own race. They've won it 63 times. Other countries to taste success in one of Europe's greatest races, of course, the Brits, the Italians, the Irish and the Germans. But Japan yet to win the race. Jason, do you think we might see history on the weekend?
Just looking at sort of some of the past Japanese runners that have gone close, as Jerry mentioned, El Condor Pasa and Nakayama Festa, they came out of the Prix Foire. One of them, El Condor Pasa, won the Prix Foire before finishing second to Mangeur, and then we saw Nakayama Festa place in the race. The first 1,400 metres of the Trial de Foire was run farcically slowly, and they really piled on the pressure the last 1,000 metres. The way he finished it off was really good. You expected the last sort of 100, given how they really put the pressure on, for him to maybe weaken a fraction, and the sectionals showed that. But the expectation from Connections, I know, is that he'll come on a lot from that, and I know we will also hear from Soumillon and his reaction following that win. But I sense there's a lot of confidence among the Japanese that this horse could be the horse, and with all the others falling away, he's thrust into the market leader position, which I think he probably deserves, even though he may get shorter here.